Yes, because I don't like getting their names wrong, innit? So with Sarah's, rest in peace as well, her situation, what goes through a man's mind? Now, we don't know, but there's also deeper connections where a man really would think that, yeah, I can go through with this. Like, he's just seen opportunity and he's just like, yeah.
Do you know what it is, yeah?
Go.
It's when you start to, that's why it's so crazy, you know. That's why a lot of the times, yeah, when I say, oh, I don't get why someone will do this or why they feel like, it's so hard to try and understand them, innit? Because even when you come up, like, you get professionals that they'll give you like theories and analogies of why a person would do something, but that's not 100% proven because you're not in that person's mind. You know? So we can have so many reasons, so many things, mental health or this or that, or he's a predator or this or that, innit? But these are just things that, based on other things that happened, we're using it to judge this specific situation, innit? And one thing I want to even mention before that is because it's mad, because there's countless other incidents just like this one that hasn't got the coverage from. You get me? That's one thing that we can dig in. I think that's wrong.
Because we dug in, we had a conversation
I think
about
that's wrong, innit? But like what you were saying, trying to understand, like, fam, it's mad complex to try to understand the human mind, innit? That's why the most you can do is just have measures in place that sort of controls to some extent what you can do and what you can't do, innit? Because the other day I was thinking, like, I saw a stat, yeah. It says since, I can't remember, something like since 1970 something or 1940 something. One of those dates, date ranges. There's been like 1,000 and 1,800 and something people being sent to death row. Out of those 1,000 and something, 180 or 108 of them are innocent. Do you know what I'm saying? I was deep and I was like, bro, like, that's 100 and something people's lives just being effed up by the wrong decision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now we've got government, we've got police, we've got institutions in place to serve justice, to at least keep order in society, to protect and serve the civilization and the civilized people. But bro, like, that same institution it hasn't been put in place by a higher person or a higher power. It's been put in place by us, humans, the same humans that are prone to make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So to the saying that, like, we're never gonna get something perfect, yeah. But then to understand when it goes totally left, you're like, bro, like, how could it go totally left, innit? And for me, that's what I find so mad, bro. Like, it's just weird. Like, it's where do you put it on a scale of atrocities, bro?
Yeah.
Because the scale is the same scale made by humans, bruv. Same humans that will go to a certain, like, another country, conquer that country, kill how many civilians. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's mad, fam. It's mad.
Yeah, it's crazy still. Did you have something to say, bro?
Well, I was gonna say, like, so yeah, it was made by humans, but obviously, like, there are certain people in this world who will always be protected by certain institutions, you know. Obviously, I don't need to tell you that. But like, I don't know. When it comes to what happened, I think that it's difficult to kind of, for people to have real conversations about it, and for those conversations to be given like application when the systems that they should be applied to are kind of influenced by certain political biases.
Agendas.
Yeah, by political agendas. Like, you know, I mean, obviously the police.
It's mad, bro. Like, how can you regulate the police force? How do you actually regulate it? Apart from giving them the necessary training to become a police officer, how do you stop someone from saying, you know what, you're not suitable to be like, it's a mad dangerous job. Like, once you get into it, do you know how much power you have and how much like, so for you to be able to be in that position and abuse it to this extent, to taking another person's life uncalled for, do you know what I'm saying? Like, bro,
it's within the police there was this kind of there was an anger because it wasn't taken very seriously, in that you had another charge that was applied to him, and there was an internal investigation that could have been started from day one about the other thing that he did. I think he flashed someone in somewhere or something like that, and there could have been an internal investigation in the police saying, "Hey, he's done this. Let's look into this. This is serious." But they put it off, and I think that's
Why do you think they put it off?
So I think they put it off because I think within police investigations, those kinds of things aren't taken seriously. I think that there's a sense of like corrupt boys support boys kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that obviously it comes from that because it's so tightly interwoven.
I think it's
with the corruption of the government.
I think it's bigger than that. I think it goes back to, remember the other day we was talking about media and public perception and owning. How do you actually really change the narrative, innit?
Yeah.
We're talking about for us, like black people, we've been talking for days, like, how do you change the narrative, innit? And you hear the same thing, build generational wealth, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I'm saying? Buy properties, do this, do that, yeah. But bro, like for me, when I was actually deep in that, for me, the real way to change the narrative is to actually have, some stronghold in the media. Because public perception is influenced largely, and if not, the most largest element of our influence comes from what the media portray to us. The media could be what? Music, TV, film, like whatever in it. But we as black people, we don't. Tyler Perry done a very big step in what he done. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going more than that. I'm talking about owning, large platforms for magazines. And there's a lot of little, startups and black people and whatever black institutions that are doing it. But I think we're still really early in the process for us to see reap the rewards, to see the fruits of it now, innit?
And I feel like quickly, I feel like on a lighter note, the propaganda of countries kind of proves what you just said, bro. Because at the end of the day, how many times have you heard, or you've probably been in a situation where you go to a major city and you'll be like, bro, I didn't know it was like this over here. Or something like that, and you're thinking, like why?
What did you think it was like?
Because what I saw in the films and what I saw in the music videos and what I see, it was like, no, like this is really what it looks like, bro. What they show us, and like you said, bro, these big ass companies, when they put on these productions, they make these films, they make these shows, and it makes it feel like, no, Paris is like this everywhere. Like, this is Paris. This is amazing. You go Paris, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? It looks a certain way, or it looks like Peckham in there. Yeah. You get me? And it's just like, wait. I thought it was calm over here, but it's just the perception and the control and the question of what the media has.
I think that's only one side of it, though, because I think there's a perception side, and obviously
no, but
lot of ignorance is perception.
The reason that I said that, I brought the perception side of it up, is if and you guys know the way the media is, they sort of like uncontrollable to a certain extent because of the whole freedom of speech element. Like if there's a story that someone wants to post, you ain't gonna stop them from posting it. You get me?
Absolutely.
Like there ain't really like rules against paparazzi really following celebrities, bruv. That video when there was that Kanye West right in front of his garage, fam, at like 6 a.m. or something in the morning, just because the day before there was rumors that Kim Kardashian wasn't gonna divorce him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and the next day you're in your house and there's paparazzi, there's media in front of you. Like, what can you do, bruv? You can't really retaliate because that's gonna paint as further image of you in the media. But the reason I asked, like, why do you think, like, if something bad happens in the police force, they don't really publicize it, is because what do you think if the media perception of the police force is like, rah, they're not really protecting us, they're the ones that's, really harming us, and they're posing as a threat to us.
There would be a rebellion.
Thank you. So I think it's a way of keeping control within society. Because when you really do your research, there's so many cases specifically against policemen that they've raped, they've harassed, they've killed, they've kidnapped, they've done madness, bruv, but it's not nowhere in the media, bruv. Like, it's nowhere to be found. Do you know what I'm saying? And the people that's tried to report it, something's happened to them, their publications, something's happened to the publication, whatever. Like, bruv, if you're walking down the street and your perception of police is like, raw, already as black people, our perception of police is they're not really here for us.
Yeah.
And saying, on top of that, to other races, they're like, raw, like, and genders as well, women walking down like, raw, the police, like, if I'm feeling danger, I can't even call the police now. Like, that won't, society will stop functioning, bruv. It'll turn into Gotham, bruv. So for me, I think that's one of the reasons why it wasn't portrayed in the media. And then me and Nick came up with like, okay, why was it portrayed in the media because somehow it was convenient to their agenda.
Come on, bro,
at
man.
a specific time, because it's
This
happened
ain't
so
no-
many times before.
this
But
ain't
why
no
is it this
game.
specific time? Why was it brought to the media? Like, why did we find out about it? What else was in the media at the same time?
At the same time.
when all of this was brought up.
So what?
What else was in the media?
Meghan and Kate.
And Harry.
Meghan and Harry, sorry.
And how much of that was
Damaging.
Damaging to the country. Not, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Its
the
image.
country, like, bro, we need something else. They was in those newsrooms, like, we need something else.
When Nick brought
we need
that
to
up to
post
me, I was
something
thinking, like,
on the
yo.
front of these newspapers ASAP. Because
Bruh.
this is killing our country. The whole world is talking about the royal family. The whole world is saying the royal family's racist, bro. We can't let this run. Impossible. What crazy story do we have right now that we can put up? Oh, well, hold on, a black boy getting stabbed. No, that's not good enough.
That's
A woman getting raped. We need something a bit more sauce in
She's
it.
white.
A police
police officer.
officer murdered a white woman.
Don't you think that if that was their agenda, then it backfired? Because there's still
bro. Oh, camera, sorry.
Um,
It's not like I was like, bro. But no, what? Like,
I have a rebuttal for whatever you're gonna say.
okay. So
it's damage control. To me, at the end of the day, it's damage
So,
control. It's
I
not.
see- I see what you
it's
mean.
backfired.
But then there has been more. I think there's been more anger against the system that has been fueled by this whole police thing.
By who?
What do you mean by who?
More anger from who?
What from?
There's black people being in danger by the police. Like a story like this ain't really surprising.
Ain't new to us.
It's not surprising.
As surprising as the story about the royal family being racist, that ain't news to us.
No, I mean to me,
We felt this for time ago, bro. See,
Yeah.
for me, I think in terms of society, you can only make one change at a time. You can't have multiple changes happening
Well-
at the same time because that's gonna cause.
When you
two-
say that, when you say multiple changes, what do you
Like-
mean, like the equality stuff?
yeah, so I don't think like say all these problems we face in society,
Yeah.
racial problems, gender problems, all of that. I don't think you can solve all of that at the same time.
No, you can't.
Because this like all of those have created certain boundaries and restrictions in society, yeah, that's holding people from doing certain things in it. If you
This
start
is-
breaking all of them down at the same time, that it just becomes, to me, I can see it coming like just becoming chaotic, bro.
Well, this is
Like
my-
there's nothing there that's like, it's like, okay, cool. Your whole life, you're telling us that the whole life, everything that we've been doing that the government's saying is a lie, bruv. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that like
What's the lie? What's the lie? What's the lie? You lost me in a sec.
just like not like, okay, cool, we're saying, oh, there's racial problems within
Yeah.
society,
Yeah.
or whatever. The government's like, oh no, it's not, blah blah blah. At the same time, females are saying,
There's
we're being
sexual
undervalued. There's sexual problems. There's no protection, and they're like, oh no, there's not. If all of those problems come out at the same time, yeah, in the sense of, okay, let's fix all of these problems at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna work.
But
Like,
it's the
No,
whole point.
but-
that's exactly what. This is my hot take. That's exactly what they want you to think.
that is not
Like-
gonna work.
Yeah, that you can't do it at the same time because it's almost as if a corrupt government wants corruption to work in their favour. The whole point is if you pull one string, it's all going to come loose. So it's not the point is.
But
the attitude-
but when you pull the string,
Yeah.
because think of every country that there's been a struggle for power.
Yeah.
Every single country that's experienced conflict and there's been some sort of struggle for power. You get me? And you can see it the most in the most underdeveloped countries.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The sort of state they've been left in, because once you remove a certain power structure and you don't replace it, there becomes this vacuum that needs to be filled.
So
And there's going to be a lot of
there's-
people that think, you know what, it's time for our voices to be heard. So now there becomes conflict to capture this power.
that's a really complicated beast.
It's mad complicated.
It's mad complicated.
But
So
I feel. Hold on,
yeah.
but sorry, Ben. Because I've been listening to both your points here, and I feel like this conversation's become more
It's gone off the original topic.
of the original, but it's a great conversation that we're having here. However, I do feel like we're missing one like major thing about this. Like basically everything's a business. Every country is just trying to make as most money as possible. They're trying to make sure that their country still gets a large amount of income. These countries that we can hear, and if I tell you a country, you might tell me what happens over there because it's so obvious. Like if I tell you, what is it South or North Korea? where like Kim Jong Un's like,
North Korea.
we know how bad that is. Oh, they don't have internet. They don't have internet access. Everyone's trying to leave there. We ain't traveling over there. We ain't trying to give them no money. We ain't trying to fund or help them grow their economy in any way, shape, or form. No one's trying to do business with them. There's a lot of bad stuff that they're getting over there. These things that we come up with, these social issues, if this country allows us to have control and be like, all right, cool, we'll fix this. And these other countries will be like, no, we can't do business with them. There's fuckeries over there. This is happening, that's happening, this is happening. It's terrible. Of course they're gonna shush us and be like, yo, you look like, calm down, man. Relax with all these protests. Letting everyone know it's all fucked. Shh. Listen, wait, here's a little march and here's your little badge on your little Premier League players. Be quiet for a little bit. If we're gonna constantly just be like shouting and shouting, it's never gonna be fixed, bro.
For me, it's even
Let's
bigger.
be honest. It's all about a business. It's all about keeping the flow of money going. It's all about hush, hush, shush, shush. Let's all relax. It's not that bad. Calm down.
For me, it's bigger
But do
than
you
that.
think it
Yeah.
should be like that?
What do you mean,
Well, like, do you think that a country should be run like a business?
bro? We can't control
That's a sad
whether
reality,
it is.
though, is it?
It's
That's a
like,
sad reality.
and that's exactly my answer. It's a sad reality. No, I don't. But bro, it's worked for a lot of countries. We're able to have the certain things that we have in this country based on some fuck shit. And we kind of have to live with it. We're not going to change a country. People are never going to change a country, bro. I don't believe that. And if you feel like... the reason I believe that is because they've made me believe it, bro. You try.
When you, because I have a similar...
Job say
I have a similar...
You try, man.
Thought track to,
like-
I have a similar thought track to you, yeah, as in like, bro, like, what can we actually do to make real changes, innit? Like... So when then I start to think, cool. What can we do to make real changes? Yeah, if we so-called can't make real changes, yeah, what's the whole point of all these protests and all these things in it? Like, why are we getting involved and invested emotionally, physically, whatever, financially, even?
I can speak for myself on this, yeah, and for me, it's mainly to inspire the future. So
for them to be stuck in the same cycle, because
wait. Let me answer the question. So, for me, I've been inspired by the past. So I've been inspired by Martin Luther King. I've been inspired by a lot of people that have protested and made a change, and that's the reason why we can work. It's the reason why we can travel to certain places. It's the reason why we're accepted in society in some places. So without what they've done in the past, we wouldn't have a lot of the things that we have now. And so a lot of the time we have to make these choices and make these stances and make these financial investments and go to these protests and I don't know, tweet it if you have to, whatever's going to work for it to inspire the later generation for them to... Wait, let me learn, man. For them to be inspired to make further change. Because like I said in podcasts before, bro, this ain't happening in our lifetime. This is how I feel. This ain't happening in our lifetime, bro. Man ain't gonna be able to be like, nah, these lot see us as equal now at 70.
That's what I'm saying. So
I don't feel like it's gonna
that's
happen.
Where
Hundreds of years from now, that's when it will happen. So let's make our stance.
Because then we can make a difference.
We can make it. I didn't say we're gonna make it like we're gonna change. Like people are gonna change this, but we can make a difference.
But you said you can't change it.
So we can't.
Hold on, wait. I said you can't, bro. It's never gonna get to a point of full equality, bro. We're not gonna change a country, but we can get steps where we're in a better position.
That's true. I think
that's my stance.
I understand.
I think we can change it, but I think we all know how.
So
Nah.
That's what you think, bro.
So
It is literally you're taking it, but I don't think that.
That's what I said. I think we can change it, but I think we all know how, because a lot of the times, I think I've even said it before as well, fighting for land that's not ours, bruv. Like, it's hard for you to really believe in the plan, yeah, if the plan doesn't believe in you. Like, how can you fight for a country that doesn't fight for you?
Facts.
So
And a lot of people, they've been taken for the, like, they don't know where they really belong, bruv. Like, it's sad. Like, if you look at American, black Americans, African American, a lot of them.
Wait, guys,
they're not-
we're going off topic again.
I know, but I'll try to bring it back. They're not even,
I mean, it's
they're
not
not even, they're not even African, bruv. But you just class as African American because of your skin color, bruv. Like, where do they begin to make a change, bruv? Like,
I mean, my attitude is that I was born in the country that invented the guillotine. So like, it may have been 300 years ago, but
what's that again? Is that?
No, the guillotine is
When they slice your head.
Oh,
I was born in France, and it may have been 300 years ago, but they chopped off not just the king's head, not just the queen's head, but all of the fucking royalty and all of the aristocrats. And okay,
That's nuts.
did it have the long term like repercussions that we thought it would? No. What did it achieve? What they were setting out at the time? Though, yes.
I think.
And I don't believe in violence necessarily, but like, it's a difficult position because especially when women, black people, oppressed people everywhere are being victims to acts of violence. It's a question of okay, well then and again, I'm not saying violence is a solution, but like the whole point about the protests, right, is that there's a whole game. There is a game about obedience is really important, right? Other countries, if there are protests, other countries are gonna kick up a fuss, and it's gonna affect the business. And the whole point is that the government will only do whatever the fuck it wants as long as the people tolerate it. If they are obedient to it, not gonna be a problem. But there have been points in our history where you've seen, no, hang on, the people haven't tolerated this. Whether that's social uprisings from Malcolm X, from Martin Luther King Jr., and not forgetting that Martin Luther King wasn't just a black activist, but a communist activist, at the very least anti-capitalist activist, which is kind of important because capitalism is very damaging to people of colour and minorities the most. And why? It's because who's at the top of the people lining their pockets are the white rich men, who are directly descended from the colonials, from the colonists, from those kinds of people.
Facts.
So if there is a social uprising, it's going to be like, no, hang on, that law's not going to go. So it's a question of the government and the systems will only misbehave as long as the people behave. And if the people start to misbehave, if they do unify, if they do collect themselves and rally against something, then the government, they will start to look very weak. And the whole point is that we don't necessarily need to overthrow the government. And I mean, I have opinions on overthrow, but like,
meet me in my back cave.
you don't need to do that to get them to kind of start giving in to more rights. I don't think that way will create true equality. I think that's just facts.
I'll just before, after you finish your point, because I don't think you guys have spoke on your take on the whole Sarah Everard thing, innit? Well, you have a little bit.
To be honest, I don't really think I can say much. I
think that's why this whole conversation went off on a tangent, because it's hard to have a real comment apart from it is a tragedy and it's a shame that's happening.
And it's caused by a systemic problem.
Yeah, it's hard to say that, but as minorities, that's been faced with so many similar challenges and tragedies over not just our lifetime, but a generational lifetime.
Slightly numb to it.
A little bit, but then
slightly.
It comes into like, fam, we like as black, like me specifically speaking, growing up as a black kid, we've had to be telling our females or the women in our family to, when they go out, stay safe, call me when you get home, don't go that way, I'll pick you up here. Do you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like we've grown up having to do that, and it's like now, what used to be our problem is spilling over to be your problem now, and like they're like, okay, like what do you think of it? It's an outrage, and I'm like, it's been an outrage. Like, do you know what I'm saying? But what are we doing?
And I feel like, bro, the year of 2020 was kind of like that, like kind of like the same kind of testament when it came to the coronavirus. My mum's been telling me, make sure you wash your hands before when you're coming from school. Make sure you take off all your clothes, put it in a dirty basket. Yeah. Make sure you know what I'm saying? Like, the certain cleanliness has been kind of normal. Like, do you know what I'm saying? When you meet someone, we spud. We've always been spudding. Why? Because so you get me, cross-contaminate, all those types of things. Now the whole world's spudding each other. Do you know what I'm saysaying? Now the whole world's washing their hands a certain way. It's like, bro, I'm not gonna lie, but us we've been doing this. Like,
been using Dettol.
Do you feel me? Like,
been using that
now,
Dettol.
like you said, now our problem is now spilling into the world, and it's like slowly everyone's like realizing like, yo, motherfuckers is racist. Everywhere in the world is dirty other than your own house. Yo, this is mad. We're like, yo, we've been moving like this.
But then, if you're empathetic, how do you think the black women feel who have not just been targeted by the racial aspects with the
Bro, we
children and
like,
stuff, but then also this new thing about the violence against
Bro, we know, bro. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
they're like, we know.
So, like-
We got black mums. We
Yeah,
got black aunties and sisters.
You know,
Bro, we
but,
know
like,
exactly how they
no,
feel.
no,
Like,
This is-
I think we know, but I don't think we have the full aspect.
we know to a certain
haven't
extent
experienced
because
it.
even
Yeah,
even
just having a certain
even
extent.
even personally, yeah, for me, I remember my sister was telling me this, but she didn't really go into too much detail in it. But even like, you know, I think there's an issue. Like, there's one thing as a black person losing your job, or a black man losing your job because you're black. Do you know what I'm saying? But then I think there's another thing, if you lose your job because you're a black, like as a black female, there's more elements to it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because there's been issues or stories, yeah, where, you know, a female's, you know, being like harassed, let's just call it harassed in it,
Yeah.
in a workplace. They're feeling a bit uncomfortable in it. And some, like, on top of that harassment, they're black, so they may be getting overlooked for certain positions. You know what I'm saying? And in their retaliation or their reaction, they're being classed as an aggressive black woman, which this leads to this, and you lost your job. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about, okay, cool, how do you think black people feel? Like, when Nick says we know, it's because like they tell us about it.
Yeah.
Like, they come home to us to tell us about
Mom's
it.
told me,
Yeah, I'm
answer.
saying they come to home to tell us about their problems they face, innit? So
But, like-
maybe we may not have been experienced it, but we've been through it to a certain extent.
course.
I'm
with
being
them,
through it
innit?
with her.
And-
I'm going through it with her. Do you know what I'm saying?
and like on
Yeah, but
top of
the only
it,
reason why I say you're not fully going with it is because you don't have to. When you're walking out, you don't know if someone's going to sexually assault you, even just by looking at you,
Hey.
and then also having the fear of somebody sexually
But
assaulting
bro, that's
you.
impossible,
My
fam.
rhetoric-
No, but that's for you. as
It's
a
not-
man,
it's-
as
it's
a
not
woman.
impossible.
There's extra layers. They
it's
go
not
through.
impossible for that to happen to a man as well.
It's not impossible, of course. no.
Wait, man,
wait,
man,
no,
Nick,
Nick,
what's going on
no,
there?
Nick, don't be naive. Anyone can be sexually assaulted.
No,
It's
I'm
what you
not,
can-
bro. I'm not saying man has to be a sexually assaulted to understand how a woman feels. I'm saying, bro,
No, you don't have-
you're asking me the question of, do we understand how a black woman feels, like in life, like as they go through, like what their struggles are? I'm saying the point of, I go through it with them. So, for example, they're coming home to man telling me this is what happened to me.
Yeah.
This is what happened to me at this
That's
point.
what
in
I
my
said
life.
too. That's
So
what I
it's
said.
like, bro, not that I can't go through everything
You can't
to
physically-
understand.
you
You know what I'm
can't
saying? Man
physically
can't physically
experience
go
it,
through
yeah,
it,
but
but
you can
I'm as
experience-
close as I possibly could get if they're telling me every emotion they felt, what the situation was,
So that's-
what was
to that
said.
extent.
It's like, bro,
But
how
again,
much
you
closer
can't-
can a nigga
you can't-
get,
You can't
man?
experience it the way they experience it. But
Yeah.
we experience it the next closest thing.
Next
to
clo-
them.
literally the
Do you
next
understand?
closest thing,
but,
fam.
But what you said is, what did you say again about? So I want to get this right about, you know, black women going out feeling safe, blah blah blah, on
Yeah.
the street.
Yeah, like black women
Yeah.
knowing that
And-
there's a fear even
Yeah.
itself of being looked upon,
do you know what's mad
being
here?
approached, and also knowing the fact that anything can happen to them as well.
And it's so crazy. Yeah. This thing is
Sexually.
it's so crazy, innit? Because that's why again it's so hard to speak about it, especially as a minority, innit? Because, and this is in no way, shape, or form to downplay the fears and the dangers there are to, you know, females and black females as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, young, you know, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old males out on the street late at night, there's also dangers to them, bro. Like, that is uncalled for. It's not like, like, there's certain people, like, what did, you know, certain man do to get stabbed up?
What
You know
did
what I'm
Daniela
saying?
Taylor
We
do?
face so many different dangers, yeah, but it's more like, females don't necessarily have that fear, but they have this fear of being out late
And
at
that's
night.
what I hate.
You know what I'm saying?
That comparison
like,
shit.
It's so, yes, we all go through problems. That's why it's so hard to like comment on this situation, because it's hard to see a clear, like, the clear solution is like, you know what, everyone stop effing about, you know what I'm saying? Do the right thing.
Yeah.
But I know everyone does that. It's what we was talking before. We don't know what goes through people's minds, innit? But we all face like dangers.
So
Like,
you have to just deal with it, dog. Cause everybody,
so mad.
dog. Like
See-
the same things we went through. Like, yo, what did Stephen Lawrence do? What did Damiela Taylor do? There's so many black boys that went through a madness. So there's no point us comparing. Oh, I don't know how a black woman feels. Well, she don't know how I felt. So like we could sit here all day and
But
compare
the
a
system-
gay man, a black woman, a white woman in
But
bare
hang on.
societies. There's a lot of shit that happens to all of us, bro. Like you can measure it how you want to measure it, but it happens to everyone.
The thing is it systemically, right? So the systems that are in place favour white men first,
Facts.
right? There's still a hierarchy. There's still so then probably white women next, but then it's a bit sticky depending on it, and then it comes into race and minorities, and then probably as black men. Yeah, but you're still above the black women in the hierarchy. There are still certain systemic advantages that you have because you're a man.
Man, we spoke about it in the last episode a little bit as well.
There are certain things. It is like the whole thing about it being a man's world. There are many truths to that, and absolutely you're going to experience systemic things because you are black, because you are a minority. But then that's why I asked the black women's question, because they don't just get the black issue, that kind of systemic oppression, but they get the sexist systemic oppression.
Facts.
And they get both of them. So it's a bit like they have two systemic things against it.
I think it's
It's
very
not
hard
just-
for us to comment on it without having an actual female.
Well, that's yeah.
Present.
But what's the goal here?
What is the goal?
It's to understand and
We're
listen.
talking about a table.
No, the goal was to listen and really just understand their perspective.
But
But is that it though? I've been doing it my whole life. What's going on here? What's man? What we
Okay,
talking
so
about
It's
here?
still going on. I'm not trying to
Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Like, bro, I've
something
been
to
understanding my whole
understand
life,
about it.
cuz.
What would the goal be then?
But I don't know. That's my question. Like,
For me,
we're talking about a table.
that's always going to be my goal. I always just want to keep learning and listening.
But if
what I'm saying.
we're talking about a table, a hierarchy,
but if you learn and you
everyone's
know
at different
everything about
levels,
it, but it's
bro,
still going on,
everyone's at different
what
levels.
good is
Like,
that?
I don't
But
understand.
You're learning from it existing. When I went to these protests afterwards, I went last Saturday, or last Sunday. I almost went to the one on Saturday when there were arrests, but I went the day after on my birthday as well, actually.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Jesus. Happy birthday, though.
Yeah, big up. But and honestly, I
That
thought
was the only motive open for man, isn't it? Everywhere's closed. You see it?
but I
protest.
I went to these protests and I thought I knew everything, but then you hear it from these women firsthand. These women, black women, white women, whatever, all kinds of women, and other minorities were there as well. Like there were black men, there were Asian people. Like everyone was there, kind of rallying against systemic oppression in general. And like, honestly, I was there to just listen and to lend my voice to someone else's cause.
I think
And
that's.
I think if you're feeling apathetic, again, I can't speak on it because I am of the demographic where the system suits me the best. I could say if I've been oppressed or not, but like it's not systemic, so it doesn't really matter in this conversation. But like, I think if ever you're feeling apathetic, because I felt apathy as well, sure. Again, it's not systemic, so I don't understand it. But I think just go to these protests, listen to why they're angry, hear it from these people who are
You don't have to go to a protest to.
No, I know, but like.
But this is why I feel like I'm repeating myself. Man,
I know you say you've been there.
I lived with 3 black women
Yeah.
for
Bro,
20
that's-
plus
I
years.
think that's your experience,
But this is the only experience I can speak from. So
Yeah.
But
when
he
we're
can't-
hearing,
he can't speak for
but
that,
that's
bro.
why I'm speaking from my perspective, where it's
I mean,
okay, cool.
I'm not just
If
trying
I'm
to say this
if
to you,
I'm
but I'm trying to say this to listeners.
yeah, no facts. But
So isn't that the goal?
what's the goal?
Widespread attention, like you said, in the media.
To
Because
raise
not only
awareness.
that, and one thing you get with media and what you get with art forms is that they will reflect this. So back in the day, we didn't have protest songs as much as frequent. Public Enemy was one, Queen Latifah had with Unity. You had certain songs in the mainstream media, when they hit the charts, it's only a few and many. Now we're seeing a more widespread. We didn't even have gospel really in rap like that until, I remember when Kanye West had
We
Jesus.
did, but it wasn't mainstream.
It wasn't mainstream at all until Jesus Walks came about. And then he put that really out there in the charts. He even said it in his lyrics. He said about how if I put this and here goes another single, I know radio need this, but if I talk about Jesus, I guarantee they won't play this. He kind of provoked that. You have these stories. So when you listen, you're also having a platform. So you have a movie, you're going to shed light. That's why when people think, oh, why did the Golden Globes not acknowledge any black films? The only reason why it's a major thing, not for the awards, but it's because other people from different platforms, because of that widespread attention they get, it reflects it. When Childish Gambino dropped This Is America, that was widespread attention. Now, no, there was no change, but you had conversation, and when you have conversation, you have a widespread attention towards it, and it
Facts.
paints that narrative. When you keep doing this,
But
you
then
keep
from then
painting
on,
it. Yeah,
where does the solution come from? Like who?
And I think that's where I'm at.
Who comes up with the
Personally.
solution?
No,
Yeah,
but
because like you can come up with a solution. Like, wait, not even you. Can you come up with a solution to fix our problems, or do we come up with a solution to fix our problems? Do you get that? Like,
you have to see it where it causes a chain effect. So if
Someone's
I've
got to solve
film-
something.
no, but
Sam,
what I'm
I think
saying,
the solution isn't no one man can do it.
not one man can
but
do it,
I don't say who as in which specific person, but where does the solution come
it
from?
comes from a chain reaction from what I see it. And I see it as because you have unity. Like, again, I'm just going to give a business example in it. But like, there was no following when it came to people of personalities. There was no following when people did vlogs. But they had a culture because they kept on growing and growing and growing until the people just said, I want to give this platform a voice.
Facts.
Podcast did not have a platform like that until the people kept on growing and growing and growing, and they gave a voice. So when you have films, you have music, there's chain reactions. Inspiration, that inspiration turns to another person who's going to continue to create and create until the government keeps seeing it. Oprah never had a platform beforehand. She kept doing her shows and the interviews, and to a point where interviews now is making widespread attention because she's able to get these people on her own platform who's actually made a widespread attention now. You keep spreading that narrative, people are going to be put under pressure.
And I fuck with that point, bro.
Yeah.
But you know what the difference between that and the quality? Quality don't make money.
No, quality won't.
All the things you man just listed makes bread.
There won't be no quality, bro. There won't be no.
Do you know what I'm
quality.
saying though? That's the reason why it's I fuck with your point, but in this space it's tough because bro, equality don't make money. All the things you just listed makes bread for them.
So then what
They've
do
gone
we-
and
what
gone,
do
yo,
we-
we can
so
monetize.
what do we want?
But what do you do though? Do you make that bread, and then when you do that with that bread, what do you do?
You can
continue
use it to
fund?
influence.
Exactly, influence, but
I
also
hear
fun
that.
back. Tyler Perry has his own production company now. When the movies he's did for his
hear that.
culture, his people, he knew that if you ain't fuck with it, it's cool. I don't care if you don't fuck with it, but my people are fucking with it.
Hear that.
And once he kept doing that, what do? He keeps putting money into his own foundations.
So we got
money
do some
back into
Tyler Perry
Atlanta.
shit, basically.
Atlanta, they basically made a hub on their own, bro. Check on me. It's getting late. But yeah, they've basically made a hub of their own. Like Atlanta now, like literally, I remember I was saying 90s Baby Show was talking about houses over there.
Yeah.
Brother, like
Gee.
just the hub of black folk, what they've done with their own power themselves. Now, of course, what is the word? Black Wall Street is not what it was back in the 1910s. But you see certain places you're gonna get. So again, Philadelphia, they're rebuilding that. Atlanta is a place of thriving black business. Bruv, there was a house there, 3 bedroom, 350,000. Over here, you won't get that over here. But it's what people have done for themselves and when they reinvest. So that's what I'm saying. With the generation today, I have hope because
I think
you have that.
back then. I do have hope as well, innit?
Yeah.
But like that's what I said. Who's gonna come up with a solution? Yeah, because the things that happened in America didn't just come like that. Do you get it? It stemmed from all these mini sort of changes that were happening from way back with the likes of the Martin Luthers, the Malcolm X's and whatnot, innit? And Black Panthers and whatnot, innit? There was a chain reaction similar to what you were saying, innit? It causes a chain reaction from them, innit? But you can start to slowly see solutions coming up. Like you're getting, like America's probably the only like in the place in the world apart from like African states, yeah, with the most black governors and stuff, state governors. Do you know what I'm saying? Like and we can say maybe they may be, you know, ahead of us in terms of the progression, but they also got like more explicit problems that minorities face, and not just black people, but minorities on the whole face. And so maybe like maybe it's proportionate. They're ahead of us maybe in the progression, but then also the problems that they face is more explicit. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in America, I think it's harder to track down systemic oppression because of one, the scale of the country, and two, there's so many intricacies between each state governments, and
It's tight.
like one thing might pass in this state,
Not gonna pass in the
but
next
you go to that state, you're gonna have to start from ground zero again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But here we're looking here in the UK, whereas you know the system is a bit more connected, is a bit more like smaller. You get me? And we still don't really have. Me personally, I still don't really have a sense of, you know, I can feel a solution. We've got something to build on because, like, a lot of the times people say, bro, like, you know, casual racism in the UK, it's so sly, yeah, that will get to a point, yeah, we're thinking, wait, what are we even trying to figure out? They'll make it seem like, you know, everything is sweet, everything is all right. You know what I'm saying? But then boom, something like this happens. And you're thinking, nah, like, outrage, like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? Do you get me?
My thing is, yeah, we always have this, how bad do we care? Like, I'm always going to say that it's like when you said it's down to the people, I will make a change. You know, these protests, we've always said the same thing, same things, so I'm not going to repeat it. But what I would say is that if I was to make a drastic decision, it's all in one, count for one. So if everybody was auto vouch and no one's paying their taxes anymore, because we know where the tax money goes towards, there will be a change. It won't just be you that's going to be getting cut by the government, everybody else is. But
how do you stop paying taxes, Maggie?
Oh, you're just going to go there and you're literally going to go on Gov and you're going to go and you're going to file a claim. And you're like, yeah, I'm not putting my taxpayers' money on there.
Yeah, but I hear you, but they take that automatically. So how are you going to stop?
You go on Gov. Everything is on Gov. So literally like how your paycheck, you know how your paycheck, so say like when you sign onto the system, they're going to ask you your national insurance number, they're going to ask for obviously your P45.
But you know, it all depends though. It all depends though.
This is just an example.
But some people just pay their taxes.
It is an example, but that's what I'm saying. So like
annually,
when people be protesting about racism.
That's if you're like a self-run business, no?
Yeah, and if you like earn a certain amount.
This is like when people protest about football. Like,
no, like I personally want to know, how do I not pay tax?
I don't think we have a choice, bro. Do you feel me? If they take it, how are you not going to pay tax, fam?
That's what I'm saying. So how, like, you're saying you go on Gov.
You go on Gov, and I also know that, so it's a way when your settings where you're like, I'm not putting my money in it. Like, it's like when you want to put in a pension plan. But I know, and I want to get a person.
So you can actually go on there and just click no.
Yeah, I want to go on a person who's on finance so I can get more into nitty gritty details on that as well. Because they literally say you have to go on Gov and you go through the settings on it, and you know where most
you can do that, boy. Why the hell are we done?
Well, that's the thing, and I think even that's even something where people could easily, if all in one and one for all was to go even to the government itself and raise protests, we're not taking part of this no more.
Like, you already know.
Well, that is my thing.
Way
so
people, like, you know what I'm saying? I can only speak for black people. Sometimes, like, it's hard for us. I don't know why, but we find it hard for us to support each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, or we find it hard to start a movement because we're waiting to see that it works.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? I want wait.
That's because we have. That's what I'm saying. That's only because now we have comfortability options now.
Right.
So back then,
some people are comfortable.
Well, back then there wasn't really
it was the backs against the wall more.
Well, yeah, you had backs against the walls, and then. Sorry, hold on. But yeah, no, you had backs against the walls, and then you had all of this, but then also the fact that they didn't have much, and they was tired of it. Over here, we still have comfortability. We just know that there's still enough where we can have a protest about, but man's gonna work the next day, next Monday, before I get fired by the man.
That's true, man.
What I'm kind of asking